Adler here from stampingbees.co.nz, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Welcome back. Today I'd like to share with you another project from the mini catalogue that is available between January and June of this year. So many fabulous things in there, and I have dragged myself away from the honeybee set, yes, and I would like to share this other gorgeous suite that I am sure you will love as well. So let's flip over and let's get started. Wow, so I wanted to share with you today this suite called the Parisian Beauty Bundle. This is just gorgeous. Now, it is one big bundle. You can, well, it comes in two parts really. So you've got, you see I dog ear all my pages, and I don't know why, because I end up with most of them turned over. Might as well just, go from page to page. But anyway, let's have a look at this. Now, I can't quite get this on the page anymore because the new format is just fantastic for it. Great viewing of all the products, but it does make a little bit of an issue when you're trying to show you the whole thing in its entirety. So we'll just do it page by page. So the Parisian Sweet Blossoms. This is gorgeous. The colours are just stunning, and I had so much fun playing with this that I just wanted to share a card and a couple of techniques with you. We have the gorgeous designer series paper, which I'll show you in a moment. There's 2 stamp sets with this suite and 2 die sets. You can buy them individually as a bundle, like these 2 as a bundle, or these as a bundle, or you can buy the whole thing as one complete set, getting the paper, the two bundles with the stamp and the dies, the embossing folder, which is just gorgeous, the champagne rhinestone basic jewels, and the petal pink metallic edge ribbon. So hopefully you can see those. I'll show you the paper in a moment. And those are the cards. So I just love how we're doing this now. I love the fact you can buy these things as one whole suite. So if you're wanting to get everything coordinated as it shows, there's one number to make the order, so makes it so easy. Now I have also noticed, and I'll point out to you, they have the colour swatch here that the colour is based on for this suite. So it is cherry, cobbler, petal pink and pool party, so that is fantastic. I usually refer to the back of the paper as I think I've explained to you before, but having those swatches there to show you the colours is such a great benefit of these pages. And then you get some more ideas, and of course, as always, the reference and the ideas on each page to give you some ideas of where to even start is always fantastic. Some wonderful people at Stampin' Up headquarters designing all these amazing cards and products. And then over the page you have the 2 samples of each bundle. So this is the one with the Eiffel Tower, etc., and some gorgeous little script words or sentences. And this is the Forever Blossoms. So we are mainly using the Forever Blossoms today, but we have used the word and this gorgeous scroll out of here, which I just love swirlies and scrolls and things like that. So that is just stunning, which you'll see shortly. So this is what we will be working with today. So I'll just show you. This is another sample of another card that I did using the Eiffel Tower. I had some leftover. I was using the sprinkles, and I just wanted a nice soft muted colour. So I thought, oh, what if I can do that? And so I just sprayed it with water and then wiped it off, and ended up with a nice soft background colour for that circle, which matched really well. And these flowers I've just fussy cut out of the paper, out of the designer series paper. Excuse me. Oh, always need to cough when I go to talk. I should have a glass of water, shouldn't I? And this is the card we're going to be making today. So I just want to share with you about adding some depth of colour with this, with these flowers that you can cut out with the dies, which I'll show you, and then using vellum to emboss also. I was watching I don't know if you've heard of her, Jennifer Maguire. She's not Stamping Up, but she had some tips on colouring flowers from just cardstock, etc. So I thought, what a fantastic idea. Usually I create a colour or use sprinkles or etc. and then cut the flowers out. So this was the other way around. So this is a fantastic alternative to show you. And these are the twirls. Aren't they gorgeous? So delicate. And I'll just show you also a way to cut those out that make it easier rather than gluing. So let's pop that aside. I'll just pop that up there. So you will need, so I've done a little bit of pre-cutting. You will need a 15 centimetre by 21 centimetre thick Whisper White cardstock, which I've just folded in half. And then I have used some Petal Pink, just standard Petal Pink, 14.5 by 10 centimetres. That is just the mat there. And instead of embossing straight onto this, I wanted a nice soft, muted sort of look. So I did emboss the vellum. So it is something that you can do. I never actually thought of it until I saw someone else do it, and it just comes out gorgeous. I'll try and hold that up a bit higher for you. I think gorgeous is one of my most used terminology in this card making business, I think, because everything is gorgeous. But all the swirls and the flowers, it is very Parisian, I thought, and it comes out just beautiful on the vellum. So that is, the vellum is cut at 14 by 9.5 centimetres, or just under 14 I think I did in the end, and that's just going to go on the top there. So I set that aside because we're going to actually be working on this. So I will pop this over, where will I pop it so it's out of the way, because I'm just going to show you the paper which is underneath here. So as I think I have said before, you also have it on the page now, but you have the colours here: Basic Black, Cherry Cobbler, Petal Pink, Pool Party, and Whisper White are the colours that are involved in here. Some of my favourite colours. And this is the paper that we're using. It's the script. It's written in silver foil, and the other side is just plain. So you'll find that on, with most of our designer series paper, one side will have the more intricate design. So this has got the silver Eiffel Tower, and on the other side a plainer. Isn't that gorgeous though? The plainer. So it gives you two options, which is fantastic. So there's two of each, and I'll just run through the other ones. Just put that there, falling into the side. And we have keys and locks. I think the bridge is over there in Paris, isn't it? Where all those keys and, all those locks are. Apparently it's making the bridge quite heavy. And these gorgeous flowers. Gorgeous, is that word gorgeous again? Now in here there's silver foiled stamen, is it? In the centre of the flowers. So these are the larger flowers which I used on this card that I made, which matched beautifully with the silver foil Eiffel Tower. And then you have the smaller flowers with the overlay of the silver foil. And suitcases, if anyone wants to travel off to Paris. Very romantic city. I was living in Ireland a few years ago, and we went over to Paris, and we didn't realise that the coffee we'd been drinking, we're big coffee drinkers, my husband and I, what we'd been missing, because we went to Paris, had our first coffee in the cafe, and oh my gosh, we were in absolute heaven. So yes, they make good coffee. And this is the embossing folder that we used, and we are going to be cutting out from this die set, just make sure I bring it round without knocking it over, the large, now these are like stamps, have the frill around the outside but also the stitching. So there's quite a few nesting dies in that, and some label shapes. So lots of versatility in there. And so I have used the largest one to cut this out. And then one of the reasons I wanted to do this is I looked at this die set and I thought, how fabulous. It has 2 or 3, mainly 2 of each flower. Now, how many times do you go to want to do flowers, etc., and you have to cut the one out over and over again? So we have made it so much easier for you with having at least 2 of each size. So that is absolutely fantastic. And this is the dies, the other die set, and that's the scroll there and the 2 Eiffel Towers and the words. We're going to be using Amour. There's also Mercy. And these, we haven't used the stamp sets, but there's the Parisian Beauty, as I pointed out in the catalogue, and the flowers. Right, so let's get started. So what I wanted to show you to start off with is we will be colouring the flowers, etc. So I'll just bring this over here. I have done a bit of pre-cutting because I know you don't really want to see me wobbling the table with the Big Shot. So I have used Petal Pink. Let's pop that over there. Bit of room. Petal Pink, Whisper White, and Pear Pizzazz. So I've just used scrap Pear Pizzazz and some scrap Petal Pink. Now we'll start off with, I have just used Pear Pizzazz on here. All I did was ink it up with the dauber, like this, and then I just dab it. It's just to give a little bit of depth and interest into otherwise quite plain cardstock, because you don't see branches or flowers or anything in a uniform colour. So it's just really to give a little bit of depth into that card stock. So that's those 2 branches. I'll show you where we're going to pop them on in a moment. And so with the leaves, I started off with the tips, and all I've done is used a little bit of Whisper White ink and just dabbed the, oops, that was a bit much on that one, that's all right, and dabbed the tip of it a little bit. Quite fiddly, but if you have a nice surface like this, you can just work away with them. I'll just spread that out a little bit. So I've done those ones. So I'm just tapping the top a little bit with that, and I'll do the flowers while I've got the Whisper White out. So using Whisper White again, I've just gone round the edges of these petals just to create a bit of light, a bit of white on there. It doesn't go white, it will take up a bit of the colour as it dries, but it does lighten it up. So you just get a little bit of change, which is all I was wanting. I wasn't wanting to change it majorly. Okay. There we go. So with the leaves, I then just tap down the bottom just to give a bit of darkness down there. I'll add a bit up there just to get rid of all that white. So the base of a leaf would be darker. So it's just Pear Pizzazz on Pear Pizzazz, but because it's ink, it does give that little bit of depth. So then I used, I'll just close that. Knowing me, I'll put my hand in it or some cardstock in. It's my usual trick. And this is the petal pink. It's faded quite a bit, but it is petal pink. And then I have just dabbed this in the centre. Just add a bit darker. So this is petal pink on petal pink. And I think they look quite sweet. Just add a little bit of colour to that. So that's those done. So really I'm just getting everything ready to put it together. So that's the flowers and the stem. And the other thing that I have pre-cut out and I wanted to show you is, I'll show you with this actually. I have used foil to cut these out, and what I do, I'll show you on the back here, I put some two-sided tape on the back of the card that I'm going to be using. I sort of assess where it's going to go and how much I'll need. So I pop that on and I then cut it out so that on the back of my, especially good with finer things, because I know I do. I try and put the smallest amount of glue on, but oh my gosh, I always seem to get glue everywhere. So that's a more. And so on the back here now is the two-sided tape. And so when we're ready to put that on, we just take the tape off and we have already sticky back to put it together. And I've done the same with these. It was quite hard to cover the whole thing, so it may need a couple of extra dots depending on where they sit. So I did that as well. And the other thing that I pre-cut was the little, out of foil, the little stamens to go in the centre. So I get it all ready and then I start putting it together. So it does, for me, I put it all together and then I'll glue it, because I like to have a play to see what I like and how many flowers and where I want the flowers, etc. So sometimes it can take a little while, but that's okay. So now I've just got to find, this is white on white, so it is a bit harder. And I'll find the tape on here. I think it's already come off a lot of it. Yep. Cool. So all I did with this one is put, I think that one's to about there, just corner to corner. Isn't that just, I just love it. So delicate. Okay, so I'm just popping this one off. Sorry, I keep trying to take it off screen for some reason, don't know why. And take that bit off. Fabulous. And then I've just met them there in the middle. Like that. And they both just come off the top a little bit. Just off the top of the card, as you can see. So that's basically our building block there. And then, and I forgot to put the tape on this when I cut it out, so I will have to glue this. So I'll grab my glue and try very hard not to do too much. I mean, it won't be so bad because we'll be putting things on top of it anyway. So I'll just try and grab the spots that are the biggest. That's what I tend to try and do. Just so do, hopefully. Okay. Now I am gluing this as we go because when I did this before, I spent the time. I don't want to obviously take up too much of your time watching this, but I did spend the time sorting out where to put everything so that you would not have to sit and watch me do it. But it is all, you know, quite in there. Preference. You can, you know, you play with it and you think, oh, yep, that's great there. Or you can, with these two, they bend a little bit, so that's quite good. You can move them around to get a good balance, which is what I like to do. This part here is going to be covered up, so that's fine. It's good just having the greenery. Okay. And it's probably going to be different every time you do it as well. So I will, next step though, I will just place the flowers around. Now, where did I put those flowers? I did have them somewhere, oh, right here. I did put them somewhere handy, yes, very handy, right there. So let me just, as I say, each time is a little bit different. Now I'm going to put a little bow there. So I try and arrange the flowers. Now there's a couple of different sizes, bigger and smaller. So I will pop them on before I glue them, as I say, just so that I get a good balance. Because you don't want to put it on and think, oh no, that doesn't look right, and you've already stuck it down. So it is quite a good idea to do this. That's about right. And for the bottom ones, I have just used a bit of glue. So I think I only glued 3, but let's have a look. I just popped one up on this gorgeous. Now I was thinking about the fact that I use that word all the time, so it just came out. Power of suggestion, as they say. And this one I might pop up on dimensionals. It's dimensionals was the word I was looking for. And I will pop this one here. And this one here. So it doesn't need much glue. I mean, you'll look at it when you're doing yours and you'll think, oh, yep, that should go there. I'll pop that there. As I say, there's no right or wrong. It's just when you're looking at it and you think, that looks good. So that one can go there. And we'll pop that one there. So the thing that'll bring it alive as well is that we're going to pop some leaves in there. So let's start off. Now all I've done with these is gone around and added them where I think it would look good. So once again, it's just looking at it and thinking that's a great spot, etc. So I will just bear with me while I pop some on. So I'm just gluing the base of it just down the bottom. So if anything lifts like this, etc., that's always a good thing. I haven't put glue on these bottom bits either, just because I don't want it all stuck hard. I do want a little bit of movement in there. I get glue all over me. Pop a little one up here. Make sure I'm gluing the right end. Pop one in there. I find it really fun trying to do these sort of little arrangements. We have so many options to be able to allow you to have a really good play with some different styles, and being able to just cut these out with so many of the dies just makes it so much easier. It is a little bit fiddly, but it's all right. Now I might need one up the top. I mean, you might not like as many leaves. That's entirely up to you also, what you want to put there. So I'm just sort of using up the ones I've got. You may like more. So there's always that option as well. Lovely. Put that one there. And I've got one more. And we'll pop that on. Oops. There we go. And then I have popped the stamen on. I think that's what it's called. It's not the stamen, actually. I don't think it is the stamen. I'm sure someone can tell me what it is. Now, once again, I haven't glued the ends. I do want to be able to just pull these up like that, just to give a bit of movement as well. So I've only put glue right on the tip of these. My nails do come in handy at times when I want to pick up something like this. Just not good for getting tape, etc. off. In there. It's always so quiet when I'm concentrating on doing this for you. So sometimes I think, oh, I should have music playing or something, but right, nearly there. And one more. My finger. I must admit I tried some different colours. I quite liked it without, and then I tried with the Merry Merlot, and I tried different colours, but actually quite like the silver, which coordinated really well with the silver foil writing and the scrolls. So that's what I went with in the end. And we will just pop the ribbon on so that I get the writing, the word in the right place. Now with this ribbon, isn't this beautiful? It's got the gold trim and is satin petal pink. I must admit, actually, a bit of a admission here. When the petal pink first got petal pink, I thought, oh, it's not really pink. I don't know. I took a little while to be convinced. Now I really, really do like it. So it is such a soft, soft pink. So I'm just going to make a small bow for like the bunch of flowers. Grab my scissors. So, and a glue dot. I'll just pop that on with the glue dot. Now I'll take my bow to the glue dot. Seeing as I've got lots of glue on my fingers, I'm sure it'll be a bit of a disaster waiting to happen. And I'm just going to pop that there like it is around a bunch of flowers. Now I'm just going to take off the sticky. So once you've prepared everything, once you've actually coloured your flowers and your petals and your leaves, etc., it doesn't take too long to put together. You just have a play, you get everything ready, you put it down next to you and you just place it and play with it. And then once you're happy with where everything is, you can then glue it or secure it down with a, now this is probably going to, I should have taken some of these off before I got started. I try to get as much prepared before I show you, only because some of these things like removing tape, you really don't need me to show you how to do that. So I try and get that sort of thing, all the die cutting, the embossing, that sort of thing. So just basically showing you the technique that I want to show you for the day. And certainly not things like this. So bear with me. I do apologise. I hope everyone has by now received something from if you've ordered something from the holiday catalogue, that you have been having a play and made some beautiful projects. I'm sure you have. Right. Just going to put this across the corner. And then the last thing that I want to add to this, of course, is, actually no, I'll do that at the end because I'm going to glue this together now. So I pop that over there. Now, we are just going to glue the petal pink to the white cardstock. And with vellum, you must only glue where something else maybe is on top, as any glue that you put on here will be visible. So it is quite a good idea to work out where something will be. I'm just trying to figure out which is the best side to use. Probably that side. So just going to pop a little bit of glue in the middle, like that, because I know that this is going to be covering it. So just pop that down as that. Now I'm just going to use dimensionals, they're already out, to pop that on there. And don't look if you don't like using a lot of dimensionals. I don't think I use too many. I mean, I know a lot of people like to cut them in half even and use them that way, but I think I'm an average dimensional user. So don't, as I say, don't look if you don't use quite as much as I do. All right. My hand's my fingers are a little bit sticky from gluing those leaves in. I would have gone and removed the glue, but didn't want you sitting here waiting while I wash my hands. No, I could have paused it, but that's all right. We'll get through. And then I'm just going to pop that in the middle. Like that. And then I wanted to put some the same colour as the Amore on, the cherry cobbler, wasn't it? Yes. On, oh, sorry, here it is here. It is the dark cherry cobbler. So we don't have the rhinestones, and if you have that matching alcohol stamping blend, then you can colour your own rhinestones to match anything that you're wanting. So fantastic tip to have, in the sense that if you have this neutral colour, you can create whatever colour you want for your projects, which is fantastic. So I am just going to, actually I don't know if I want that size. I think I want the smaller ones. So you just run it over. Now with these ones, it's not so imperative that you worry too much how many times you go over it. If you're colouring pearls, there is a sort of like a plastic sheen on the pearls. Don't rub it too long or too hard, because that will lift the sheen off the pearl and make it look a bit muddy. So we don't want that. It does colour them quite quickly though, so you don't need to rub it for too much. It picks up the colour very quickly. Oops. And where should I put that one? Might just put it there, I think. And done. So as I say, once you've organised where you're going to put things and you glue it, and once you've coloured your flowers, etc., it doesn't take very long at all. I really do hope you've enjoyed this alternative card and taken something away. There was the embossing of the vellum, the colouring of the flowers, and the taping the back of something small to adhere it quite easily. So please do like or comment or subscribe if you haven't already, and happy crafting, and I really look forward to seeing you again next time. Cheers.